All right, we're live.
Another episode of We Gotta Believe, brought to you by our friends at Coors Light, the official beer of slowing down summer. Slowing down summer? Summer is just one long 4-game lead in the National League East. That's all it is right now. It's beautiful. I love summer. I love Coors Light. I love summer. I love the New York Metropolitans.
How about this? May the fours be with you. Let's go. We got.
Love that.
Fours.
Fours, Coors, whatever it may be. Coors Light is the official beer of slowing down summer. It is also the beer that's made to chill. If you want to savor every second of summer, you get Coors Light in the new look delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/believe. That's right, fellas. We have our own URL on the Coors Light website. I absolutely love it. CoorsLight.com/believe. What is it, Kyle? Do you remember what it is? Cold water, cold filtered, and cold packaged. It's literally made to chill. That's your offense, your defense, and your pitching right there. Coors Light has it all covered. So as always, we're going to be drinking Coors Light all season long, from spring training all the way to the parade. Cake, punch, Coors Light, and we're going to be celebrating responsibly thanks to our friends at the Coors Brewing Company in Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly, boys. Celebrate responsibly every game after we beat the Braves, because I'm telling you, series has been a doozy already. It's been a lot. It's been a lot of work.
I am already thrilled. I mean, obviously, if you take this final one, I think it's great. Even if not, I think this was a chance to make. I don't think it was a chance to break. I think if the Braves did a bunch of damage and they basically cut this lead to 1 or took over the division, obviously that was the opportunity. For the Mets, we had the opportunity to bury them, and we could have made the Braves like sellers by today had we smoked them. But as long as you keep 4, that's it. Like that, you walk out of here with a 4-game lead, maybe more, maybe a little bit less. I'm A-okay with that, because, and it's a loser mentality. I'm gonna cop to it. But as a Mets fan of my age, the Atlanta Braves will still always strike fear into my heart. There was a time when it was a small window, because the Braves are a good organization and they reloaded and rebuilt pretty quick. But there was a time where it was like, okay, they're no longer the Braves of the past, and they're not that good. But I still was like, I don't care, man. I don't care. I see that logo. I hear the chants. I see the chop. This is when Turner Field was on his last years. I was like, nope, still scares the fuck out of me, and they still will for a while now. So despite the fact that they've been bad this year, pretty much, let's call a spade, not good, under 500, and like just bad. Despite all that, they still scared me, and the thought of 5 with them was like, if we couldn't handle 7 with the Pirates, what's 5 with the Braves going to be? So long-winded way to say I'm happy with how this is going so far, and pretty much no matter what happens, I'm happy with the series.
And like the Braves are the Sith. That we'll get a little nerdy, some Star Wars on you. There's always an apprentice and there's always a master. Yeah. And it was for years Chipper and Andrew Jones, but they had the same last name. That was the fucking worst too. Dude, but it's Freddie Freeman is the master, and that motherfucker Austin Riley. Who, if your name is Austin Riley, you were born to play third base for the Atlanta Braves. Like he didn't have a choice. That was his destiny. To quote the great Darth Vader himself, and he just murks us every guy. Even when like it's a blowout, he's killing us. When it's a 1-0 game, he's killing us. Fucking Austin Riley, get out of my fucking life. Like Freddie Freeman might like end up out of Atlanta. It sounds like they're still like dragging their feet on the re-signing. It's fine. They're like we have Austin Riley. I'm telling you right now, Abraham Almonte is the next Jesse. He just you realize that like, he makes the catches, he like kind of like waves, he has fun with it. Like he definitely has that little extra oomph to him that I'm like, I hate that motherfucker, but I actually kind of like respect that he actually makes baseball fun.
What was that? What was the total count of 2-run home runs for the Braves in that blowout game? I think it was 4.
It felt like 7.
Yeah, I mean,
every time I turned around.
I wasn't able to watch that whole thing, but I had on the MLB app, I had the notifications, and just like every like 22 minutes, a 2-run home run for the Braves popped up. I was like, what is going the fuck on right now?
Super producer BC was like, they really need to stop letting them run that 2-run play. I'm like, yeah, no shit.
Let's run that back. But last night's game, I put out the tweet, the screenshot of my conversation with my mom, where she called Pablo Sandoval fatso and said that fatso makes me nervous. So I was, kind of watching along with her, texting, and then she called me after the game, which is like a late night phone call. Usually we just say like, all right, good, Mets won, put it in the books, good night. but she calls me. She was unimpressed with the final out, which struck the fear of God into my heart. I thought when I saw that ball off the bat into the gap, I was like, this is gonna have to be like a diving play miracle, or we're going to extras here. And she was like, I didn't think that was that big of a deal. I was like, what are you talking about, lady? What do you mean? That ball was smoked. I don't know if Dom just got like a good beat on it or whatever, but that whole inning, man, scared the shit out of me. And tip of the cap to Conforto, because without that perfect strike from a guy who doesn't throw those very often, that inning, that was going to be yet another. Well, that would have been like 4 and 5 for
Diaz.
Those lines, like 4 or 6, 4 or 5. So that is what's a little scary. That's what's great about a big play and some good defense. Is it you look past the fact that was a couple hits and a leadoff double, and that ball that was hit to Conforto. We're all talking about the throw, but there was another hit that fucking Diaz gave up. And I mean, I went crazy for it. I'm celebrating for it, and then I realized, I'm like, well, wait a minute. He went to second on the throw. We're right back in the same spot. We got to go out here. So that whole inning, great plays, but a lot of drama as always. And if it's killing me like it is now, with a 4-game lead in July, down the stretch, and hopefully in October, I've been saying it over and over again, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna have a fucking stroke, man.
Well, like, we're getting over this hurdle, and then you have the Braves are now going to be in the rear view. And now you have the Marlins, who are completely fucking out of it, who are just stocking up on pitching to fuck us down the line. And the Phillies, who are in on every single player, and it's like you're just biting your nails. I want them to sign somebody or to trade for somebody just purely so that he doesn't go to the Phillies. Because if he goes to the Phillies or to the NL West, this is going to bite us down the line.
Yeah. And the Marlins are always the team that can fuck you no matter what. You know what I mean? We've seen that over the years. They can be the worst team in the world, and they still – just find a way to butt fuck the Mets. But yeah, so wait, Atlanta's at 5 games back now, 2 games under. You think you can put to bed the Braves?
I'll never say that, just because I think that's why you were more worried on that hit than your mom was. Your mom has lived through more than just the Braves, where the Braves were our boogeyman for basically our entire lives.
Right.
And also, your brother said it too, Kev. It's perfect. Keith or Gary, whoever the fuck it was, did us no favor. They're like, that's a hard hit ball. And then Pilar was just like, got it. And I'm like, what the
I don't know though. I don't know. That ball did seem smoked to me. That I was very nervous off the bat there. But yeah, I mean that. Thank God.
Our boys are slipping. But it's at home and they're in the ballpark and they still can't get the fly balls down, the home runs, the line drives. I feel like, and maybe it's just all our brains have been broken in the last year. But I feel like we've all kind of been.
It's probably hard, you are in the booth for this game, but you spent last series on the road, you're not getting your rhythm and all that. Gary though has been flawless his whole career, and some of these home run balls are but then we had that Gary Thorne series where I was like, okay, remember what Clem just yelped like a dog.
That fucking guy murdered us. He almost killed me.
I'm gonna need that clip for later. Woo! So yeah, I'll never take that for granted. But you're right; it has not been the best. But
who has been the best though? Who has been the best? Say it, Kyle. Fucking say it, Kyle. Tyler McGill. Tyler McGill is my guy. Tyler McGill. I've been saying it week after week.
Clem threw out the caps locks. My guy. Is that official? Yeah.
I've been saying it for weeks now. I'm like, guys,
he just likes him because he sounds like a Game of Thrones character. He already said that. Guy's 6'7". He's got a name like Tyler. I'd be liking him.
Tyler is so obnoxious. No, it's not Tyler. It's Tyler. He's just. I think I said this in the group chat. I don't know if I tweeted it. I was like, dare I say that he's just good? Because he's a good pitcher. I can't believe it because you get a few good starts from him, and you're like, oh, okay, we're catching lightning in a bottle from the new guy for a stretch here, and then he just kind of keeps doing it. And you're like, is this guy just gonna be good? Because that would be awesome. That would be a welcome surprise. As much as I've been talking about, let's get a top guy. Filling out that back end of the rotation is kind of just as important, and maybe he's the guy to do it. It seems that way.
I mean, he's performing on the field. The numbers say it, right? So the second lowest ERA in Mets history for a rookie after his first 7 starts is Nolan Ryan, 1.99, Tyler McGill, 2.04. But it's the juju stuff, too. He made his major league debut the same day and year that Jacob deGrom did. So he was the same exact age as Jacob deGrom was when he made his debut. Kind of this, this guy's going to be good. The Mets believe in him, but we'll see what he does. Kind of comes out of nowhere. We have Jacob deGrom 2.0. People are saying we have a variant of Jacob deGrom, whatever it may be. Magic. Lightning has struck twice in Queens.
Let's pump the motherfucking brakes. If I'm Ty-Lore, I'm sitting at home going, Clem, Jesus Christ, we got to win 96 games, and I'm Jacob deGrom? Calm down, man. Calm down.
Gotta believe we say it every episode. God damn it.
He has been impressive though. I mean that's where positive K. I have been thinking more about the possibility and the likelihood, the probability that we run away with this bitch because the injuries. And if you do make a move and a guy like Ty-Lore steps up, it's like all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait a minute, we have way better players than like a lot of them now. And that's not that far fetched. I don't think that's that crazy. It's probably, 50-50 shot that these guys come back and they're not healthy or it takes a while for them to get going. But, give me like a coin flip chance that you're going to get two of these guys back and the kid that you threw in there is panning out and maybe the move you make hits. All of a sudden that's like 4 or 5 players that is thrown into the mix. That's what I keep. Who was it? I was watching an at bat. I can't remember who I was watching. It was an at bat, or maybe they were just talking about whatever. I just had a moment where I remembered not only Cespedes, but the Dark Sexy and Kelly Johnson move that like all of a sudden these 3 new guys that were clutch, and it just changed the whole complexion of the team for the better. And this team's already been good. And if you think that we add a couple dudes that might just be like, bam, bam, now we've got everything, like everything's really rock solid. Oh, it could be the rest of this summer could be so fun, boys. And it all hangs in the balance like right now, like any moment it could happen. But I feel I haven't been watching much, so forgive me if I missed. Haven't been watching like post games and press conferences and whatnot. So maybe I missed something where they said the opposite. But I feel like it's not going to be a big splash
at all.
No. I think they'll make a move. I don't think it's going to be Chris Bryant. I think I don't know who it is. I think that they would unless maybe I'm programmed to be like in the Wilpon days where like. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors talk, so we're in on everyone and kicking the tires on and all these dumb phrases. And maybe Stevie likes to lay in the weeds and do it that way. But I just feel like there would be more talk and more buzz that like, the talks are heating up. And again, all those dumb phrases. I just haven't heard enough of that. I feel like if they do now, it would be more of a surprise. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my gut's been wrong before on this team, so could be wrong again. I think that they are still. I think Uncle Steve is still like on that 3 to 5 year plan. I mean, that was always his plan, and that always is. And I don't know if this is necessarily the year to like go all in on it.
The only reason why I think they will make a bigger move is just because the Cano contracts off the books, and they have that extra wiggle room this year with the $20 million. So I think it's easier to get something like that done.
Wait, how would that work though? So that's only for this year, right? But you bring somebody.
A lot of the guys that they're looking at, like the big name position players, would just be a rental. Like I don't think they're going to get Bryant. I'd love to have him, but I don't think it's going to be him. It could be Baez or Story are on the table, and they're both free agents next year.
Oh, Kev, you got to see the picture. Child was showing me last episode. Chris Bryant in the black jersey, his baby blue eyes.
Oh man,
he's so dreamy.
Those eyes are. I mean, fuck that guy on. Like, can we just throw that out there, Chris? Like, if you come here, get a chance at a ring, maybe we could re-sign with some big money, and also KFC from the We Gotta Believe pod, he'll fuck you.
He will have sex with you if you would like it. And then so I saw Trevor Story and John Gray, like that was and Bowden. I think Bowden is he's never he's not always right. Like he said that was a whisper, right? So
dude, Trevor Story is in the mix. Like holy shit! What do you think it's gonna? I feel like you're thinking the opposite, Kyle. You think it's gonna be big?
Well, so Zach Scott was on WFAN yesterday, and he's not really one to mince words, which I love. Yeah. He's very straightforward. Yeah. He was like, "Listen, starting pitching, I don't really know if we're in on anybody big. We're gonna should try to add some depth." He's like, but don't get it wrong. Like, we're in win now mode, and
Okay.
I don't have to really check with Cohen other than to give him like the courtesy, like, hey, like we might be in on this guy, and he just lets me do my thing. So if they're gonna make a big splash, I just feel like we're gonna have to give up like a top prospect. We're gonna have to give up something big if we're gonna get like a 2-player package like that. Like their shortstop Ronnie Mauricio, who's 20, and it's like, well, Lindor's the next 13 years, so might as well get rid of somebody like that. If they can do that and we win right away, that'd be amazing.
Sure. I mean, so that's what I'm saying. I haven't heard many of those appearances. So if Zach Scott's on the fan saying like we're in, then fucking I'm wrong. But man, but Trevor Story or something would be. I just the Javi Baez thing intrigues me because of that quote about him. Like I want to play with Lindor, and that's the only guy that I would move positions for. That's pretty fucking awesome. I don't know about him at $200 million for the long-term future. That's fucking crazy. But also, you say those things, that's negotiating. Fucks the Cubs big time. Or actually kind of helps the Cubs in the sense you can tell the Cubs want to rebuild and blow it up, and they can turn to their fans and go, come on, this guy wants $200 million. We got it. We're never going to pay that. Because I think most rational fans agree that would be crazy. So Javi would be like an interesting one because of the Lindor connection, because he said he's willing to move and all that, and because he's got the fucking swagger. He's got that Cespedes swagger. Cespedes was so fun because he was hitting bombs, but he also was cool. We have not had a cool factor on our team in a while to him, and Javi would be that. It'd be a lot of fun in New York.
Javi Baez makes he makes must-watch videos out of tagging a runner out. He makes must-watch videos out of a ground out to first base. Like the guy just has it, and you get that guy in October with everyone else on the team, with Pete and with Francisco Lindor. And the biggest thing is for all the fucking Lindorks too. This guy's not only a great defender, he is a good hitter. Other than the first 2 months of the season, he's a fucking electric presence that has righted the ship with Familia and Diaz, and he's also the best pitching coach in the goddamn world. But he's also like turning this into the NBA where guys want to fucking form super teams here. Give the guy some fucking credit.
That's invaluable.
By the way, he has 22 home runs this year, so he has just as many as Pete.
Like he's a good, and he's Benny the Jet. He is Benny the Jet Rodriguez. Like get in a pickle and show you some things. Like flash the leather, and it's something you've never seen before. And I mean, I hate to say it was not the best look with him being out of the lineup the other day after. So that walk off fucking stirring in the row, and then he like clearly is going to get plunked the next day and is out of the lineup. But that kind of shit is like that would be awesome, dude.
Again, Mets fans, we don't need much. We turn Bartolo Colon into the most beautiful bell of the ball, right? Like we grip onto anyone with any kind of personality.
I'm willing to say that Pete's cool. Okay, I'm willing to look past the fact that everything is try hard and cringy. That's cool. If we have a guy who's actually cool, here's what I'm beginning to actually like with Pete. I like when he's not into the music.
Yes, I like that.
He does the white guy bounce, and he's not trying to do anything other and then usually he comes out and does something big after that. I'm cool with that. The home run horse and the T-shirts being on sale like right away when like the jury's still out on whether or not fans even liked it felt very Salt and Pepper-esque to me. And obviously the Donnie Stevenson thing. A lot of these things, I if I was on his team, I would be like, this isn't coming across that natural. But I'm still willing.
You know what it is? He's like trying not to be David Wright or Derek Jeter, who like just let the play on the field do the talking and nothing else. But he sees all these other guys growing like they're social and getting all the commercials and shit. And he sees Aaron Judge, who Aaron Judge doesn't even try to be cool. He's just a presence, so he gets those accolades.
Aaron Judge is 6'8", or 6'7", whatever. That's who he is. And if he wasn't, he'd still be a good ball player and be fine. But he would probably need a little more of a hook. His hook is I'm a giant. To make but that's where Pete he should have. I am the bar. That's a great line. I'm the best power hitter in baseball. Which obviously there's better hitters overall. But if you want to talk about just straight power, most home runs since 2019. You see the kind of balls he can hit, like in the home run derby, he hits them to the moon. If you want to play the semantics game of what does it mean to be the best power hitter, you can make the argument that he's right and that he is it. That should be it. I am a monster. I'm a bear. I am the bar. I hit bombs. That should be it. You don't need like everything else is you're trying to make it happen. Whereas being that big fat bat has already happened. It happened the natural way. But obviously, he's natural with the actual cool stuff. He's naturally got that baseball swag, that Benny the Jet swag, and I would gladly take that in New York.
And that's what I love about Pete, though, is that he's like, if you're a better power hitter than me, like, listen, during the season, he got hurt, whatever, seasons come and go, ballpark factors. If you're a better power hitter than me, meet me in the home run derby. $1 million on the line, go fucking beat me. And no one has, and no one will for a while. Again, he's going to be 50. And I'll say this about Pete. We said in the last episode, Pete needs to make fucking money, man. He's making more in the home run derby than he makes all season. So, hey, Pete, get that money. That's old Barstool fucking hustler right there. Hashtag respect to that.
I had an idea because I think the $1 million home run derby prize is brilliant because it makes it matter to a lot of these guys, Even when I was talking to Christian Yelich a year or two ago, I was like, is that something that like interests you? Because now you got big money, And he was like, bro, $1 million is $1 million. Like, I'm still interested in it, no doubt. And so what do those guys do? They all go out there and try, right? So I was thinking, I think I hated when the All-Star game was decided by when home field was decided by the All-Star game. I thought that was too extreme. But I also hate when it's just totally meaningless because guys don't show up and all that. Actually, I want to say I totally hate it. I'm indifferent to it, whatever. But what if they made All-Star MVP like you get like $5 million and everybody would go out there and bust their ass individually. And that would lead to like the game actually mattering or at least like people trying hard. And then you've got something like if someone hits like a 7th inning home run, you're like that, and to take the lead, that might be a $5 million home run right there. And it's just like, cause a little bit of a prize is not really a cash prize. Is not out there in a lot of sports other than like your contract incentives. Make league incentives to make some of these things matter because Pete did that for $1 million. I don't know if Pete's doing that if there's not the money on the line. So thank God for that cash. But man, that thought of Baez,
You know what I just realized too? If they did trade for Baez and if they could get him before the game on the 31st, it would be first game black jerseys, Javi Baez running out the fucking short. It would be, electric is overused, but it would be fucking electric.
It's so funny watching you guys because I've been saying forever I'm indifferent on the jerseys. You motherfuckers love the black jerseys. You got it circled on the calendar, waiting to see what everybody looks like and who's going to be the pitcher to wear it first and all this shit. People love it. And I like watching, I just can't muster it up. I wish I did, but it really doesn't matter to me. But I like watching you guys be like so in on it. It's fucking hilarious.
It's one of those weird things with it's just jerseys are weird in general. Like, the throwbacks, the Knicks jerseys, right? Those things like they never wore the regular blue jerseys in the playoffs. And that's why they won. That's why they lost. Not because the Hawks were just a better team than them. It's because they just never wore the blue jerseys that they lost in 1,000,000 times in their history. It is just one of those weird things. And I think Pete's going to be better with the black jerseys. He just has that. He's wired that way. But I will say this, Kev.
He's going to put a show. Like he's going to come out and he's going to like stand there like, "Are you not entertained?" Wearing the black. He knows he's got the crowd.
I will say this. I lost my train of thought there.
Sorry, that's my fault. I interrupted you.
No, but it's like it's Carrasco. Carrasco's back on Friday, right? So Carrasco's going to be the pitcher who
Mets debut
in the
black jersey debut. Yep.
But that's what I was gonna say. Whether it's Baez, it's Trevor Story, it's Brian, it's none of the above. I do feel like there's probably the newer Mets fans who like this is just their life now. They're going to be able to be in on all the big names. Kev, you kind of are the old Mets fan. It's kind of like the old Barstool, right? It's like, Dave, can we just get paid this week? Can we have insurance, right? Can we have stuff like that? You were there from day one. That's the old Mets fan, guys like us who remember the Wilpon days. The new Mets fan, it's like, not only do you have insurance, you have a full-time job, you have fucking Uber Eats if you want to get that, all the like fucking just luxuries dripping out the ass. That's what life is going to be like now. This is the first trade deadline for us to actually experience it. It's going to take a little while to understand the new normal, right? It's like we're like, oh man, the Yankees got Joey Gallo. Not because I care about the Yankees getting Joey Gallo. It's because like he could have been a Mets target, but at least he's not going to the Phillies or someone else like that. Like that's the kind of way we have to think now.
Dude, I thought for a split second when I saw it on my phone that it said Votto, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on? Like, what are the Reds doing?" That scared the shit out of me. But yeah, you're right that like maybe maybe it'll be totally commonplace that every July 31st, the Mets, if they're in on it, are definitely going to be the big players. I don't know, we said like we're not going to spend like drunken sailors, and I think that might translate to the deadline. But if there's the right fit, then hopefully they definitely do it. I'm very interested to see how it shakes out because I think.
So here's the thing, they are 4 games up right now. Like I said, we don't have to play the Braves again until the final series in October. So I feel like we don't have to worry about them for a while, and the Nats are selling off. We have to play the Dodgers and the Giants 13 straight games in August.
What?
13 straight.
The schedule is fucked.
Makes no
So
sense.
we have a home and road, or road and home. So we're gonna have to go there, West Coast swing, play the Dodgers, play the Giants, come back, play the Dodgers, play the Giants.
Is that regular?
Kind of fucked.
Is that normal?
No.
A couple times, like, well, obviously with the Pirates, but then there's been a couple. I mean, even the Reds, like we just played them there, and then they're coming here. Seems like they're just play them then, play them now. It seems very strange. And the Dodgers and the Giants, I don't want any part of that right now.
No, and those are the teams we're going to be competing against potentially in the playoffs, but then also for guys in the trade market, because I feel like the Giants haven't moved. They're kind of being linked to Bryant. The Giants are being linked to Bryant. The Dodgers are always in the mix. Obviously, the Red Sox are going to, Heim is looking into that kind of shit. So, and listen, I don't want to hear about prospect hugging either. Like, I don't want to not trade my prospects because I've seen them come up and every guy we keep just sucks. We get the Lastings Millage effect. But I also don't want to just give guys away and then have to worry about Mauricio becoming a stud for 10 years if we don't get a legitimate stud back. So
I'd argue that we almost don't hit on a large portion of the prospect. Like Nimmo, obviously, Dom, Alonso, those guys come up quick and right away you're like, those are the guys. Then you have Rosario, who 2 years straight was the best player in the minors, and now he's gone. And Dilson Herrera. So it's probably 50-50 when you look at it down the line when it comes to a first-round pick.
Man, I forgot about Dilson already. He was a special one.
Oh, right? The Dilson outrage. I went back to an old blog about that. Was that Jay Bruce, right? That was the Jay Bruce trade, which, I mean, to be fair, Jay Bruce unleashed a whole bunch of carnage on our souls that we could have never seen coming, 2 times over. He even got us with the Jeremy Burnett's, I'm coming back to you, and I'm going to suck even worse than I did the first time around. And thank God he then haunted Yankees fans. That was his last gift to Mets fans. He did haunt the Yankee fan until they made him retire, basically.
I feel like they need to either the PR behind this deadline, I think, is going to be important one way or the other. If they make their splash, that is the PR. We're going for it. If they don't, I think it's going to be they need to have the right statement prepared, the right delivery of it all. Because there's going to be a lot of Mets fans again. The same thing we heard in when we were struggling in April. Where's Uncle Stevie's wallet? I thought he had unlimited money. I thought he was going to spend. I thought he was going to make big moves. So I want him to have the right mentality of here's how these asshole fans are going to handle it. So, they can't just stay pat, right? They've got
Cubs lineup today just came out. No Rizzo, no Bryant. Baez is in the lineup though.
Interesting. Are they moving Rizzo too?
They're selling everybody. That was why Theo got out of town, because he was like, we're about to tear this whole thing down, and I'm gonna let the new GM have his way with it. Yeah.
It's crazy, man. I wonder if people will look back on that Cubs core the same way that people thought about the '80s Mets, where it was awesome. 1986 was great, but they were talking about winning 3, and they never made it back, and they never got that any more than that one. I mean, the Cubs core. Remember the days of the Cubs and Mets are going to meet in the NLCS for the next 10 years. And it was just nope, didn't happen. Sons of bitches got their one, though, and that's really all that matters. But, I mean, it is crazy when it's okay, who from the Cubs are available? Baez, Rizzo, Bryant, you got
Kimbrel.
You got
Hendricks.
And it's they're all on the same team. Everyone's oh, these one of these guys would make us a contender. Imagine if you had a team with all of them. Yeah, it's the Chicago Cubs. It's a stupid sport. It just doesn't click sometimes. And like if I was a Cubs fan, I would be heartbroken many which ways. We should probably get Carl on here and some of the Cubs guys. Maybe next week we'll do a Gotta Believe Chicago crossover and get everybody in there.
Just like Carl Vent. Like Carl, I mean, he does it on his Red Line Radio, great podcast in its own right. But and listen, to all the Cubs fans, I said it last episode. We are going to take care of Chris Bryant if we get it. We're going to love him. Kevin might have consensual sex with him if he wants that. Like, it's going to be a lot of love making, figuratively, literally, whatever it may be. Nothing but love here. We take care of our people. That's the one thing about Mets fans. We take care of our guys. That's why the Sons of Ariba was so good. We fell in love with a guy with a Coke can dick. It was a beautiful thing. It was a match made in heaven. We're a bunch of savages, like, to each other, and Frank is kind of the face of us where everyone he screams every time. Which, by the way, Frank has now poisoned my brain where he keeps writing Brandon Drury. I'm like, oh, Brandon Drury must suck. He has 3 home runs and 15 pinch hit at bats.
I know. It's like, God, man. Like, let these guys live a little bit. One thing, like, to be positive about Lindor, who's been bad. It's another thing to be positive about guys who have been good. I'm getting a little sick of Canofer, too, because like, he's been hitting big home runs, coming up with big plays. Like, it's not every fucking time, but, wrong guy to pick on. It also just feels like still a little too late for Conforto. I mean, if he's lights out through August and September, that's plenty of time to change people's minds. But, if he just continues like this, had he started like a month earlier, it would have been like, oh, okay, yeah, he is worth, $100 million or something like that. But I feel like
he lost
to have a contract.
So much money. And that's
my
the thing.
Friends were posing this to me too, and I'm going to pose it to you guys. They were like, fuck him, let him leave. Let's save up the money for Nimmo because he's got arbitration next year and then he's a free agent. And I'm like, what world are we living in where this is the conversation we're having? I never thought we'd be having this conversation, but it's like,
it's a real combo to be had, though. I mean, I would not phrase it as fuck him.
Right.
And I don't love, but maybe I keep apologizing. You know what? I'm not going to say it because I don't want to have to apologize to him again. I would say that maybe that money could go elsewhere, and it's not best spent on Nimmo either, but I don't want to have to apologize to him, so I'm just going to say, okay, whatever. But I think we're definitely entering the territory of, like, if he's going to demand the money that we think he's going to demand, I don't think.
Well, I mean, if it's $200 million and you're looking at him or you're looking at Javi Baez, I think you could even make the argument for Baez at this point. Like,
that's a no-brainer that, if he makes those demands, It makes it easy to be like, okay, no, But if it's what number do you think is good? Like, what number would you be okay at?
It's tough because the market's always moving. So it's like, I mean, he's gonna get at least 120.
God damn.
That's the strange thing because it's like you're looking at his body of work. Like, yeah, he was hurt this year and he had a down year, but he had a great season in 60 games last year. And he's the guy who's like the stat sheet guy. He could just pull it out and be like, yeah, I'm gonna hit 25 home runs and have 85 RBIs or whatever the case may be at the end of the season, and it all evens out in the end. It's not going to be this year, but
but even if it's like when he was healthy and hitting, if he was pacing those same numbers, you could make that. That's crazy.
You know what's really fucked up about Conforto is that he was around for the Wilpon Mets where they completely botched the way he was recovering from that shoulder. So he came back a year early, sucked for most of the year, but then got it together. And then they put that on last night. I forgot about 2019. 33 and 92. He batted, 322 last year. But like last year was a third of the season, right? So like you can't really, Conforto would have went cold if that was a full season. He's 28 already. So it's not like he's like baby. Basically, what I think they should do is Uncle Stevie sits down with Boris and goes, listen, this is the amount of money you can have for Michael Conforto and Kumar Rocker. Split it up however you may. $6 million prize is going to happen for that slot because he has a fucking reportedly an elbow injury, which I had a tip about, but I didn't want to throw it out there because I heard the tip was like not 100%. Really? Yeah, so it hurts that I lost a source off to myself, basically.
Like Burglar Clem is very disappointed right now. We couldn't have the scoop on the Kumar elbow and the money. So if you don't know, if you didn't see that report, Kumar apparently injury scare, and the Mets had given him above the money necessary. He was supposed to get a $4.8 million signing bonus. They said
$6 million.
But I thought he was in the 4.8.
Yeah, the slot. Yeah, the slot was like 4.
And the Mets said, no, we'll give you 6 because you are that dude. Very un-Wilpon-like, very Cohen-like, where it's, you are electric. People know you. You're going to be a big star, and you're good. We won't give you the bare minimum. We'll hook you up with 6. But, nice guys finish last. This is why sometimes in business it's better to just, you don't have to go above and beyond. Just do what is, the minimum, because now you gave him 6, then he gets injured. Now you have to have a fucking like arbitration argument, whatever it is, where it's like, hey, we can't give you that full bonus because you're injured. Now all of a sudden we're starting off this relationship on the wrong foot, fighting and bickering. Like, I hope that's just like, I would just be like, if I'm Steve Cohen, I'm worth all that money, I'd be like, just keep it, whatever. Like, I think that's the kind of stuff that the reputation you get in the long run with other players. Like, if Kumar's walking around being like, you know what, man, I'm hurt right now, and they still just said keep that money, like, good on them. And he tells his friends, and that's the talk of the prospects and the talk of baseball. All that, all that bullshit about how the minor league guys aren't making enough money, that starts to go away if you start to do little things like that. So think of that as a $1.2 million investment in your PR and in, the minor league system. And just let it happen, because I think nickel and diming at this point for that kind of money is just not really worth it. But God, do I hope he's okay, man, because the thought of that, being an older guy in college that could maybe come up like middle or late next year, and then all of a sudden he's there for like while Jake is still hopefully God willing here, and like while the window's open and all this shit that would be cool. That if he could just join in with this, kind of like what Conforto did in 2015. If he just joins, like, come on down, kid, join the party. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I don't think they haven't said it, like Tommy John or like what exactly is wrong with the elbow. So I mean that remains to be seen. But yeah, I kind of subscribe to this. Again, it's not my money too. It's like Steve Cohen shits $6 million like, when he's fucking hungover. Like everything will be all right. And but it just sucks though, because like I think one of the biggest things, like, it was like we're getting this electric guy and we're no longer have to wait to the deadline if the Mets are going to sign that guy, if the Wilpons are going to nickel and dime him. And it was so nice to not have to worry about that. It's like, boom, here we go again. But I do think Uncle Stevie comes through.
Well, I mean, with that and the deadline, we'll have like a good litmus test of what Uncle Stevie is and what he's all about. So could be a big opportunity, boys. Oh, and just go ahead and console Jared Eichhoff. The third DFA. Get the fuck out of here. That dude has been, every week on this show, how many times have I said this team is likable? And I can't even think of one guy who really like bothers me. At one point it was Joey Fuego, and we learned to love him, who, by the way, did send me another message being like, he's rehabbing and now he's ready to do the show. So we're going to get him on, gotta believe, soon. But yeah, I think Eichhoff can be the bullseye.
Yeah, I that's the other thing. I'm like, wait, is Tyler McGill really good, or am I just seeing him pitch after Jared Eichhoff? And it's like, just anyone who throws strikes and doesn't get their fucking tits kicked in is like, looks like fucking Cy Young out there. So that kind of makes sense.
Tylor needs a nickname, and it's I'm not Jared Eichhoff. Tylor, not Jared Eichhoff. McGill is like that's who I am.
Speaking of, and one last thing, speaking of pitchers that have, are becoming beloved, and we always called them skinny familia, drop the carbs, drop the fucking ERA. It all kind of came together. Our guy Gelbs last night just fucking in a reply tweet goes, oh yeah, by the way, Danza Kuduro is back.
Dude, that's got to be more like the first guy I saw talk about it, I think, was Tim Healy. When he was talking about Blaster Jacks, I think he was the one who was like, if Diaz ever gets good, like, this music's gonna be a big deal. He made like an announcement of that, like presenting that to the world. Gelbs has got to know that Danza Kuduro deserves a fucking like a little vignette that they should have run during the fucking game. You can't just drop that casually. That's that. If I was a bettor, that's important news. You know what I mean? I'd be throwing down a bet on the Barstool Sportsbook on Familia to get the job done because he's coming into Danza Caduro. He's everything.
That's more important than like his weight. Like Familia telling me he's coming out to that, then I'm like, all right, I have confidence. We had the Diaz scale, which Joe, I love Joe DeMeo. I love him. We're in the Diaz boat together. And I'm in it. I'm in that boat. If whatever Diaz does, good or bad, I will be getting hit with tweets by people angry or happy. I understand that. I said 7.25 confidence on Monday's episode.
Yep.
Even with the save last night, that now has dropped to 7 because those balls were hit. They were hit fucking hard.
Saves that he got saved.
Yeah, exactly. Conforto gets the save.
Yeah,
it's fucking Edwin Diaz has.
That would be a good idea. You know what? If I was a manager, I would do team wide saves and be like, who gets the save tonight? Michael Conforto gets the save. Whoever literally saved the game doesn't have to be the pitcher. That's a great call. Fucking Michael Conforto gets his first big league save.
So I mean, again, fucking Danza Kuduro. I can't even say the word. I can't even say the song.
Danza Kuduro.
You gotta yell like they do at the beginning.
Have you ever heard Frank the Tank's version of it too?
No.
Oh God.
Oh
no.
yeah, I'm gonna have to send you guys that one. Yep, it's Frank and he's screaming it in like anger because he hates it so much. So it's an all timer right there. But we have Danza Familia back. The trumpets, hashtag trusted trumpets is still a thing, though, because his ERA is still good when he's at home. When he's on the road, it's like 6.5. When he's home, it's like 2.2. So the Narcos does work for Diaz. Caduro works for Familia. We'll figure out the rest of this. And that's the other thing with this. We're talking starters. We're talking bats. We probably should get at least one more bullpen arm because I can feel the entire fan base is going to turn on Aaron Loop, even though he's been fucking good all season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All it takes is just one bad outing and everyone turns on you. So
Brad Hand just went to the Blue Jays, so we don't have to deal with him.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't see that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if they go into selling mode, we can pick up some games and then we can relax a little bit. But that 13-game stretch with the West Coast teams, they got to get somebody to help us out.
Talking about real life too, the Phillies are going to have a weird run of it here too because I don't think this series is getting played at all, right? Because of the COVID shit, and there's going to be a lot of those weird doubleheaders we dealt with because of the Nationals. The Nationals fucked us with the first thing. Yep. Now the Nationals are fucking the Phillies in the second half. It's a weird thing, but I mean, it's just going to be a numbers game. Really, 7 with 17 left. We have to get past that threshold. That's all I need.
Why did you say that? Why did you just say that?
It has to be said, Kevin. We've been talking about this.
Said. I did not need to hear that. I did not need to hear that phrase. Oh my God, that's like in Harry Potter. The lead that shall not be named, the year that shall not be talked about. Oh my God, that literally just saying that just went chills up my spine.
I'm going right into the storm. I'm fucking what's his name? Bill Paxton and Twister. I'm driving right into the fucking Twister. I don't care. You're my Helen Hunt. We're going into it together. We said this in 2015. We said in 2015. We said once we get past that number in that X and Y left, we're gonna put it into fucking variables here. That's when I'll feel confident. That's when I'll feel because this is the longest time we've been in first since the year we do not speak of. So we have to just put it out there. Uncle Stevie's in town. He's driving the car into the tornado. Don't you feel better now that Uncle Stevie's driving that car?
Yeah, that's totally fine. Like I told you, I'll go to the end of the earth for Uncle Stevie. So, and shout out to Loop and Banda, the Bash Bros Beer Boys, getting together post game, sipping on their Coors Lights. Wink, wink. That's got potential. That's got potential. If our bullpen is just a bunch of beer slugging Bash Bros, I could get down with that. I think they should be allowed to drink in the bullpen. It's like like the majority of you probably aren't even going to pitch tonight. Right. Diaz probably could use a beer. If Diaz, can you go out there drunk if you wanted to?
I don't know. It might be a
it's been done, I'm sure. It's definitely been done.
It really feels that way. I wonder if that would be against the rules. A performance enhancer if you are calm, if you took away your nerves. Not obviously like shit-faced. Or let's say you were shit-faced. If they knew, would you be punished? It's an interesting thought, Doc Wells on LSD, Boomer Wells on about 50 beers the night before. It's certainly happened in the 80s and whatnot. But I would love those guys to just be like, I popped a couple Coors Lights and then went out there and struck out the side. No big deal.
I celebrated responsibly, guys.
Of course. Of course. All right, so put your fours up, back where we belong. Finish up with the Braves, and then we got this dumb West Coast fucking stretch. Fuck that noise. Are we out there for part of it and then back home for part of it?
Yeah. It's bookended. Sucks too.
And I think the Nationals are sprinkled in at some. It's like Nationals and then the Dodgers and the Giants, and basically nonstop for like the month of August. It's really weird the way it all works out.
If we're heading west, I will see you guys back home. Kyle, you take the reins. You're young enough to do West Coast ball, and I will see you guys when we're back in Flushing because I'm extra innings baseball is a young man's game, and I am an old man, so. See you guys later.
Yep. We're recording this Thursday afternoon at 12. The game just started, versus the final game against the Braves. We'll come back at night if anything crazy happens. And if there's a big trade, we'll obviously do an emergency pod for, again, I thought Dick Mountain was the bar we had to clear.
Yeah.
You have to clear Dick Mountain in terms of a name or, prestige for an emergency podcast. But hopefully we're back here just once. I do not want to do a post-game fucking what the hell happened in that Braves game recap, but hopefully we get Chris Bryant, Javi Baez, Trevor Story, any of that kind of stuff. And gotta believe.